Oh, there you are. Hello. Welcome to whatever this is. This show, this podcast, this me being live on a camera and having multiple people watch. Few, couple, plenty. Yeah, well, hello. It is the 13th. It's Monday the 13th. It's not Friday. And yeah, slow day in the news week. So I got a few things to talk about, but nothing too serious. The whole Trump thing going on still. The whole whatever Trump trial, whatever you want to call it, debacle, sham. There he is. What's up, buddy? Better than zero. Thanks, Joe. It's usually 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I've seen as high as 7 or 8, which is kind of neat, but whatever. I remember one show we did. There was back when Tyler was around, we had like 100 and something viewers at one point, which was kind of neat. We were talking about some Tim Pool thing or something. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that, the hush money trial debacle thing. I guess Trump had some friends show up at trial. So that was kind of cool. So we'll talk about that. Also, GameStop got a nice big bump today, and they had to halt trading a couple times because it was going a little crazy. I guess that Roaring Kitty guy showed back up again. The guy that started the whole, whatever you want to call it, the Reddit group, GameStop pump, and then turned into AMC and a couple other stocks that they shorted and moved. So we'll talk about that. See if that's something. If GameStop is going to do another thing, or if it's just a little flash in the pan. Also, Brazil's underwater. Some major flooding in southern Brazil is going on. Of course, when that happens, there's the climate alarmists are going to jump in there and talk about that, and then people are going to talk about migration and people leaving Brazil now because they're worried. I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have a rush to the border of Brazilians now. A lot of butt lifts. Also, we got talk about Melinda Gates is leaving the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That foundation that rules the world. That one, the one that's run by Skeletor and the other Decepticons. I don't know. Yeah. So she's leaving. Maybe she's finally had enough of the whatever, the evil ruler, the evil dictator to rule the world. So she's gonna go start her own thing. So we'll talk about that. Also, Steve Buscemi, if you know who he is, he's an actor, weird looking actor, but he's been in a lot of things. Boardwalk Empire. He got punched in the face. Random punch in the face. I shouldn't laugh. That was kind of awful. I like Steve Buscemi. So the fact that he got punched in the face, guy's got to be like pushing 70. Punch a dude in the face like that, just walking down the street. I don't know. That's New York is dumpster fire. If you live there, if you walk down the street, you might get punched in the face. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. Brazil's like 70% rainforest, so I don't know. Maybe that might be a problem. That might be why a lot of rain. I don't know. Also, and lastly, this week we'll talk about Jerry Seinfeld got protested at Duke University just for being a Jew, and for supporting Jews and all that, protest him, I guess, whatever. I just saw him. Fun fact, just saw him live. His comedy's good. So I'm a big supporter of Jerry Seinfeld. And yeah, so we'll talk about that and the nonsense that is. If you're watching or you have watched or you do like the podcast and you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. That helps me out quite a bit, especially a small channel like mine. Small amount of growth in the last little bit. Be nice to get a big amount of growth. That'd be kind of cool. And if you do like the videos, obviously like them and share them, comment, even if they're negative comments, I don't care. Just throw whatever you like. But like I say it all the time, if you're going to put a negative comment, at least be original and creative. I had some douche put some stupid comment. I had to comment back and tell him how much of a douche he was. But just be funny. If you want to make fun of me, go ahead, make fun of me. That's fine. But, it'd be nice if you made me laugh at least. I don't have to read your comment. I love these people that watched your video they watch the video, and then they comment to tell you how stupid or shitty you are or whatever, right? Well, you watched my video, and then you took the time to comment. So who's the idiot? Still helps. So thanks for the douche comments. I don't care. Yeah. So yeah. And if you do miss any part of the podcast and you do want to catch it without going back and watching the whole thing, you can catch the clips. I do usually 6 segments in the podcast, and I post them 5:00 between Tuesday and Sunday every week. So if you catch those, obviously like, share, and do all those things. Do all the engagement stuff that helps the small channels. Do that. Help me out. Help the small channel. If you like it, and if you don't like it, well, whatever. Just fade on out. But yeah, if you do, that's a good way to support me. Doesn't give me any money, so just a good way to let me know that I should still do this thing. Otherwise, especially when the summer comes, I start thinking, well, maybe I'll go do something else. Oh, there you go. Line in the sand. How you doing? Good to see you in the comments section. Finally, I see you in my comment sections on my videos, but you never jump in the live broadcast. Nice to see you there, and howdy from Nambia. That's a long way away. Glad to see you. Always welcome. Joe, meet. I forget your name. I think I've gotten your name, so let Joe know what your name is. We'll call her Line in the Sand for now. Smart comments on all my videos, and been a subscriber now for a little while. So thanks for jumping in on the live show here. All right, I'm gonna get going. Let's start with our first topic. Trump. It's always Trump. All right, let me just cue this up here. Boom, bada boom, bada boom, and boom over to there. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me get the right one up. Boom, boom. There we go. We're having technical issues here. Let me just stop that recording because that's baloney. Let me start the next one here. Okay. So Trump got some, I guess, friends show up at his trial today. It's kind of nice. 3 friends. I think he has more than that, but 3 friends showed up. This is an article by Politico, so you know it's going to be garbage. But let's read it anyway. Says Trump allies flock to New York to lend support in hush money trial. So here we go. With Donald Trump barred from publicly commenting on witness testimony in his hush money trial, he's letting his Republican friends do the talking and attacking for him. Sure. On Monday, former Trump attorney Michael Cohen faced ridicule from Trump's entourage visiting the courthouse, including GOP Senators J.D. Vance of Ohio and Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, or as the prosecution star witness had his first day on the stand. I'm having a hard time reading right now. This guy is a convicted felon who admitted in his testimony that he secretly recorded his former employer, that he only did it once, allegedly, and that this was supposed to help Donald Trump. Vance told reporters outside the courthouse. Does any reasonable, sensible person believe anything that Michael Cohen says? Cohen, Trump's former fixer turned foe, is at the center of the trial as the person who prosecutors hope will directly tie the former president to the $130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels. Under the gag order imposed by Justice Juan Merchan in March, Trump cannot publicly comment on witnesses, jurors, and others in the case, though he's not prohibited from criticizing the judge or prosecutors. Merchan held Trump in contempt of court for violating a gag order for the 10th time last week and warned that future violations could bring jail time. The former president at times has been visibly angry during testimony from Daniels and Cohen, including huffing, rolling his eyes, and shaking his head. But Trump hasn't directly violated the gag order since the judge threatened jail time. While disparaging Cohen, Trump's surrogates said they were in the courthouse as friends supporting the president. Representative Nicole Maliotakis from out of New York, Iowa Attorney General Brenna Byrd, and Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall were also on hand. We got a courtroom. This most depressing thing I've ever seen or been in, Tuberville said. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the president of the United States. The support from members of Congress comes after the former president largely attended the trial alone, without family or allies, for the first 2 weeks. Trump complained at the start of the trial that there were no supporters outside, blaming it on security around the court complex. Well, I guess he's used to having big crowds around, right? So, but he's also used to being in court. So I don't think this is a big deal for him, other than it being a big shame. Last week, Senator Rick Scott became the first member of Congress to make a personal appearance in defense of his friend and fellow Florida Republican as Daniels testified in court. I'm here because I've known Donald Trump a long time, Scott said Thursday. I knew him before I was governor. I consider him a friend, and what he's going through is just despicable. I tend to agree. All right, that's it from Politico. That's not too bad. I got to say, Politico is usually kind of a dumpster fire when it comes to this kind of thing, but not so bad. It's good to see he's getting some support at court, because I think people are starting to realize that this is, I've even had people that I know talk to me that are probably never Trumpers, really, saying that this is kind of horseshit. Everybody does this kind of thing. These things, half this stuff that he's on trial for it's just nonsense. Hush money stuff. I mean, I thought this was put to bed, this whole Stormy Daniels thing, but I guess not. Any other kick at the can they can get at it, they're gonna try anything they can do to just try and disparage him before the election, because they know right now he's leading in most of the polls. So, let's see how this pans out. Okay, yeah, I remember you were a Canadian expatriate. Oh, yeah, I guess. 7 o'clock. So, what time is it over there then? I guess if it's 7 p.m. here, geez, you're probably around, I don't know, 1 a.m. maybe, or something like that. Trump Gong Show hardly features here, but he's actually well regarded. Yeah, it's the funny thing about Trump is they try and make it out like he's really hated everywhere, but he's not. It's not the same. Like, he's hated in blue states in the United States, and in Canada, it's obviously we get the same sort of thing, the same sort of political leanings, right? So either people hate him here, or they love him. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I think Trump is probably hilarious as a guy to just hang out with. I think he seems to be very loyal. He seems to have all these kind of personality traits and such that I would like in a friend. Now, I don't think he's exactly the most professional, as far as somebody for president, but like, he's better than, he's like what's his face? Like Dave Chappelle said, he's an honest liar. And I like that about him. I like that he tells you the truth, even though he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's using shady shit, but he's telling you the truth about it. So I like that about him. So, but, and let's be real, he is 1,000,000,000% better than the incumbent. So, yeah. So I'm hoping he wins anyway. 1:15 a.m. Yeah, I thought you were about 6 hours difference. Wow. Well, thanks for joining me, nice and late, and yeah. So unless I move the podcast into the afternoon, I'm probably not going to get you all the time then. But well, thanks for joining us today. Anyway, nice to see you in the chat. Okay, let's get on to the next thing here. Boop, boop, boop. Let's pop this up. This time I'll do it right. So GameStop got another bump today. I don't know if this is real. I don't know what it is. That Roaring Kitty guy showed up. You remember him? He was the meme guy that showed up and was doing he was rallying all the Reddit people and such. Well, he shows up, gets a nice big bump. So I don't know if this is just a little, flash in the pan, or if this is a real thing. We'll have to see. But I'm going to read this article. It's CNBC. CNBC is CNBC. But let's see what they have to say. GameStop, AMC soar more than 70% each as Roaring Kitty meme trader resurfaces. So GameStop and AMC shares rallied dramatically on Monday after Roaring Kitty, the man who inspired the epic short squeeze of 2021, posted online for the first time in roughly 3 years. The post, a picture on X of a video gamer leaning forward on their chair as if to indicate he's taking the game seriously, marked Roaring Kitty's first post on the platform or on Reddit since 2021. The post has garnered 63,000 likes in 13 hours. GameStop soared 74.4% after soaring as much as 110%. Trading in GameStop was halted multiple times due to volatility. AMC also caught the trading frenzy ending Monday's session up a whopping 78.4% after doubling in price at one point. Reddit gained nearly 9%. So Roaring Kitty, whose legal name is Keith Gill, is a former marketer for Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance. Figures he's a shady life insurance salesman. I used to be one. Also known as Deep F Value on Reddit, Gill drew an army of day traders who cheered each other on and piled into the brick and mortar video game stock and GameStop call options between 2020 and 2021. The meme stock frenzy involved individual investors taking aim at short sellers and hedge funds who were pessimistic about the outlook for GameStop and other companies, forcing them to cover their short positions and drive up the price of the target stocks. Currently, the short position in GameStop shares amounts to more than 24% of all its shares that are freely available to trade, also known as the float. Gill later posted a few videos with scenes from popular TV shows and movies, but there's no clear indication of what they mean. GameStop was the most talked about stock on Reddit's Wall Street Bets by far on Monday, with more than 600 mentions in the last 24 hours, surpassing the popular chip maker NVIDIA, according to market research platform Quiver Quantitative. Melvin Capital felt the wrath of the Wall Street Bet traders. The hedge fund was heavily shorting GameStop and became a target of the army of amateur traders, suffering huge losses that prompted Ken Griffith's Citadel as well as Point72 to backstop Melvin's finances with close to $3 billion in support. Short selling is a strategy in which investors borrow shares of a stock at a certain price in expectations that the market value will fall below that level when it's time to pay for the borrowed shares. The GameStop mania that drove its stock above $120 a share split adjusted in nearly 2021 from as little as $3 in the space of 3 months, forced brokers, including Robinhood, to limit trading in heavily shorted stocks. And if you remember that whole Robinhood debacle, they just literally stopped. They stopped allowing trading of it. It was real shady. It was bad stuff. They kind of just got away with it. So if you're interested in that, look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. That was a real shady move, but that's what they're referring to. In response, one Robinhood user filed a class action lawsuit against the app's decision to restrict GameStop trading on its platform. The suit was dismissed in August 2023. The volatility spawned a series of congressional hearings around brokers' practices and gamifying retail trading, and testimony from leaders of Robinhood, Melvin Capital, Reddit, and Citadel, as well as Gill. The entire episode finally inspired the 2023 movie Dumb Money, in which Paul Dano played Gill. Yeah, that's a good watch, actually. I watched that a little while back. But, yeah, he's back. I thought he had some kind of, sort of gag order to stop. But maybe that expired. I don't know what happened, but this Roaring Kitty guy's shown back up. And so this might be another hot move on the GameStop and AMC train. I don't know. You get on board that thing, though, you could lose some money. Or you might gain some. I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do here. Just telling you what's up. So, invest wisely. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you say that about Canadians. I think a lot of them. So the thing about a lot of Canadians, they're a little bit. We're apathetic here, right? And we're polite. Much to it actually borderlines phony. You know, when you get a lot of people, they'll just act like, they'll be like, oh, no, I hate Trump. Yeah. But secretly, they're loving all his policies and they hate Biden. I happen to be one I'm just a centrist in general. I just like Biden because I think his policies suck. I just think he's a garbage president. I don't think he should be president. Whatever. And Trump, I mean, I don't know. I would have rather see Vivek or, somebody like that get in, but, he wasn't going to garner the support that someone like Trump is going to get. And now this whole talk of Trump grabbing somebody that, grabbing like a Marco Rubio or something as a VP, that's a little, I don't know, that's a little sketch. If that happens, I don't know what that is. It could be Trump's way of kind of appeasing the deep state or something. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Because a guy like that, he kind of he plays he plays on both sides, right? Like he plays politics, put it that way. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Annex Canada. I agree with you. We should. At this point now, I think it's a failed country. So, and yes, sanctimonious people. A lot of them. A lot of Canadians. Um, yeah, I used to be proud of this country, but I'm not as much anymore, especially after COVID. Kind of, yeah, our government really showed what they would do, could do, and are fully willing to do, and it's not good. Um, yeah. Well, it might screw him up if he does. If he does that, if he takes on someone like Rubio, he might lose some of his staunch support. But I don't know. I don't know what the move is there. It's talk at this point. It hasn't been announced fully, so we'll see. They might be just vetting. They might be vetting stuff, to see where the support lies. See if they get backlash for it. We'll have to see. And yes, I agree with the whole vax thing. But the thing about Trump is, he wants to claim responsibility for putting it out quick, and and all that. So if he has to walk it back and say it's garbage, well, I don't know. That's not really something I don't think he's capable of doing. He's got too much of an ego that way to just say, yeah, you know what? Well, we tried something. We were, we did it in good faith, but then, it's. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he says about that. But I don't know. At this point, at this point, he's on a breakaway. It's either he's gonna get tripped, or he's gonna just fall. It's his to lose. I think at this point, unless the Democrats do something different. All right, let me get on to the next thing here. Boom, 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 boom. So Brazil is underwater. Scary, scary stuff. Yeah, some flooding in Brazil, and it's causing some, talk of migration, and the climate alarmists are obviously all over this too. Let me read this article here. This is Reuters. I want to like Reuters, but I don't know. Let's read it anyway. Persistent Brazil floods raise specter of climate migration. So, devastating and ongoing flooding in southern Brazil is forcing some of the 500,000 displaced residents to consider uprooting their lives from inundated towns to rebuild on higher ground. 2 weeks after the onset of torrential rains, the Guaba, I think I said that right, the Guaba River, running by state capital Porto Alegre, is rising again, having passed the all-time high. In the state of Rio Grande do Sul, the streets of dozens of towns have turned into slow-moving rivers. Just get boats. Just in the area around Porto Alegre, where 4 rivers converge to form the Guaba River. Come on, give me some words I can say. My white tongue. Researchers estimate nearly 3,800 square kilometers, or 1,500 square miles, were flooded. That is more than the urban footprint of the Washington, D.C. metro area, which includes 10 countries and 2 adjacent states. With hundreds of thousands of families fleeing the floods, the disaster, which has killed at least 147 people, with 127 still missing, could touch off one of Brazil's largest cases of climate migration in recent history. That would be a bad thing if it does happen, because there are a ton of people in Brazil. Lots of people. And we'll move around. You thought the migration from Mexico and Honduras and wherever they've all been coming from was bad. Let's get some Brazilians in there. Southern Brazil's location at the confluence of tropical and polar currents has fed periods of increasing intense drought and rains due to climate change, according to scientists. Here's where the alarmists jump in there. The record devastation in Rio Grande do Sul follows floods in the second half of last year, leading many of the 538,000 people now displaced from their homes to consider more extreme adaptations. For the third time in 7 months, businessman Cassiano Baldasso, had to remove wheelbarrows of mud from his home in Macum, a small town 150 kilometers upriver from Porto Alegre, only to see the waters rise again. He says he has had enough. I have no idea where I'm going, but it will be somewhere far from the river, where our lives will not be at risk. Mayor Mateus Trojan said many of Macum's 5,000 residents will have to relocate. His office is planning to rebuild 40% of the town elsewhere. Baldasso had already saved his family in September by climbing in under the roof of their 2-story house until they were rescued by the fire brigade in the middle of the night. Okay, so keeps going on, but as you can see, here's a map. I don't know if you can see it very well here, but here's a map of the area that's being flooded here. So all that red there, this is obviously Brazil here. But yeah, that's so I guess okay. So here we go. This is all of Brazil here, but yeah. Oh, it would be this whole area here. Oh, geez, that is a big area. No, you're right by the water, so that's probably why. The ocean's coming in. Yeah, problems. All right, well, that's enough of that. That's enough of the climate doomsday there. I just tend to think this stuff is cyclical. I don't think it's anything out of the norm. When you're by a lot of water, you risk flooding. I don't know. Just place your house on higher land. I don't know. But in all seriousness, hopefully this works out well for the people there. That kind of sucks. I'd hate to have my my place flooded out because that can't be good. So let's wish well on our Brazilian friends and hope the migration doesn't come our way. All right, what do you guys say here? Yeah, the whole problem with RFK though is he's still liberal, right? So he's kind of like classic liberal. So it'd be hard for him to kind of jump aisle. But it would have been nice if they could have done something. We could use the rain here. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably pretty dry over there in Nambia. So what else can I say here? Where I live, I'm right by the Great Lakes, so we got a lot of spare water for you. You can just come take any. Even Joe's got a big lake right by him too, so come take some of his. All right, let me get on the next thing here. This is kind of a funny story. So Melinda Gates is finally leaving the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You have to change the name. I guess this is probably the final of the split. It's probably weird already. They split up and she's she's still part of this foundation. I'm gonna read this article. This is the Clown News Network. So how much I love these guys. Let's see what they have to say here. Melinda French Gates, so I guess she's going by her other name, is resigning from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Melinda French Gates, one of the world's preeminent philanthropists, said Monday she would resign as co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that she has helped lead since 2000. The foundation has made nearly $78 billion worth of grant payments in the nearly 25 years since its founding. French Gates, I hate how to say that, made the decision after considerable reflection based on how she wants to spend the next chapter of her philanthropy, or maybe she just wanted to get away from Satan. The foundation CEO, Mark Sussman, wrote in a statement Monday, Melinda has new ideas about the role she wants to play in improving the lives of women and families in the U.S. and around the world. And after a difficult few years watching women's rights rolled back in the U.S. and around the world, she wants to use the next chapter to focus specifically on altering that trajectory. All right. As part of her separation agreement from her former husband, Bill Gates, French Gates said she will receive an additional $12.5 billion for charitable work. That's a few billion among friends. This is not a decision I came to lightly, she said in a statement posted on X. I'm immensely proud of the foundation that Bill and I built together and of the extraordinary work it's doing to address inequities around the world and to push weird agenda. I added that last little bit myself. French Gates said she plans to leave the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on June 7th, and she will share more about her future charitable plans in the near future. The organization will change its name to the Gates Foundation. Bill Gates will become the sole chair, Sussman said. Yeah, now he won't have anybody to keep him from all his evil endeavors, blotting out the sun and the like. I'm sorry to see Melinda leave, but I'm sure she will have a huge impact in her future philanthropic work, wrote Bill Gates in a separate statement Monday, also posted on X. Looking ahead, I remain fully committed to the Foundation's work across all our strategies and to realizing the opportunities we have to continue improving the lives of millions around the world, he wrote. And, maybe not improving some too. I don't know. Okay, so that's just whatever. Given it all, let's read this. The 72.5 or 75.2 billion Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's mission is to improve healthcare in developing countries, enhance educational opportunities, and reduce poverty by providing grants and support to various initiatives and organizations around the world. Yeah, I don't think that's all they're up to. French Gates also founded Pivotal Ventures, a separate charity that focuses on removing barriers for minorities and women in the United States. In 2015, she committed $1 billion to the organization in 2019. I wonder who gets all the land they've been acquiring when she leaves. If maybe they split that up. Microsoft co-founder and French Gates have both pledged to donate the vast majority of their wealth to the foundation, as well as to other philanthropic endeavors. In an interview with CNN's Fareed Zakaria in January, Gates said he and partners like Buffett have given away about $100 billion into the foundation, with plans to spend $9 billion a year. Gates anticipates he'll have given away all of his money in about 20 years. Well, it sounds nice. Sounds nice when you say it like that, but what's it going to? What's he doing with all that money? Pushing his own agenda, his own initiatives. Not necessarily for the good of everyone. Definitely for the good of Bill Gates' world outlook, I suppose. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. It's, I don't know if this is a good thing or what it is. I think it's honestly, I just think this is her getting the fuck out of Dodge at this point. She's just sick of being around him, and this is the last and final sort of entanglement that they have. So maybe we'll see if she does good things on her own, or if just carry on the agenda as it's been outlaid in the Bill and Gates Foundation. So we'll see. Oh yeah, we get tides. We do get tides in the Great Lakes. Yeah. So a friend of mine was out fishing the other day. He went out at 5 a.m. and then he had to come back around 11, 12 because the tides were getting too high. Like the waves were getting a little high. So yeah, big lakes, man. Especially Lake Superior, big one. Okay, let's get on to the next one here. All right. So if you like Steve Buscemi, well, I've got bad news to tell you. He got punched in the face. Straight up punched in the face. Looks like this is the guy who did it. This is an article from the BBC. So titles just says Steve Buscemi punched while walking the street in New York. Yeah, New York City's brutal. Let's see. Okay, so actor Steve Buscemi was injured in a random attack by a passerby in New York City, his publicist said. The Boardwalk Empire and Reservoir Dogs actor needed hospital treatment to his face after a random act of violence in Manhattan, his publicist said. He suffered bruises and a bloody eye. I like Steve Buscemi, so I don't like to hear that. But kind of almost funny in a sadistic way. Police said they responded to an emergency call on Wednesday about a 66-year-old man being punched in the face. Yeah, I was pretty close on his age there. I said between 60 and 70. So there we go. A description of the suspect and his photograph were released by police. He was wearing dark-colored baseball cap, blue T-shirt, black trousers, and white trainers, and was carrying a bag. Buscemi was attacked in Midtown at around 11:48 Eastern on the 8th of May near 369 3rd Avenue. So if you know New York, you might know where that is. He was taken to Bellevue Hospital for treatment of bruising, swelling, and bleeding to his left eye. Steve Buscemi was another victim of a random act of violence in the city, the statement read. He is okay and appreciates everyone's well wishes, though incredibly sad for everyone that this has happened to him, while also walking the streets of New York. One witness told the New York Post he saw the actor seem to trip and fall backwards in the assault before he got up and ran off. There have been reports of random attacks in the city, and hundreds of National Guard troops were deployed in March to the subway to address high-profile incidents of violence. It's like the 80s all over again in New York. However, officials figures suggest overall crime in New York City has fallen year on year. Okay, well, when you, I love these misleading. Thanks, BBC. Yeah, when it's up here, it's bound to fall a little bit. So, Buscemi is a New Yorker who once worked as a firefighter. His portrayal of a corrupt Atlantic City politician leading a double life during Prohibition in the hit HBO series Boardwalk Empire won him a Golden Globe Award. Okay, well, so yeah, unfortunately, that guy didn't care. Golden Globe Award winner, whatever. He was like, "You're getting a punch in the face." I think there's a thing though. There's definitely like this weird thing where people see a celebrity and they just want to punch him or kick him or do something to him. I don't understand. I don't get it. He's just another person doing a thing. Like Steve Buscemi of all people, like what's he? He's not political. He's not anything. He's a pretty good actor. That's it. And he's a 66-year-old dude. I don't know what this guy's gripe was with him. I can understand if somebody wants to, go and punch somebody political or somebody who has who has a lot of opinions about, controversial things. But this one's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't like the final season of Boardwalk Empire or something. All right. What are we at? 36 minutes. I'm kind of blasting through this. You're quiet, Joe. All right. Here we go. Let's get on to the next thing here. So Jerry Seinfeld got booed and protested at Duke University. I don't know. We live in a weird world. I guess it's because he's Jew. That's his fault there. Shouldn't be Jewish. I'm gonna read this article. This is Global News. I'm giving a little. Here's a little something for our Canadian broadcasting people here. So I don't typically read from the Canadian stuff because I find it be garbage. But let's see what the Global News has to say about this. So Jerry Seinfeld's commencement speech spurs student walkout at Duke University. As comedian Jerry Seinfeld took the stage at a commencement ceremony at North Carolina's Duke University on Sunday, several pro-Palestinian student protesters staged a walkout in their caps and gowns. I think that's good. Bye. See ya. I don't know why that's a bad thing. Seinfeld, who received an honorary degree, was being introduced by school president Vincent Price. Vincent Price, that's hilarious. When both booing and cheering sounded from the commencement crowd. According to the video from the incident, some students stood from their seats and exited the university's football stadium carrying Palestinian flags and chanting, "Free, free Palestine." The 70-year-old comedian, who is Jewish, has been an ongoing supporter of Israel. Well, obviously. He was one of the 700 Hollywood figures to sign an open letter condemning Hamas and supporting Israel's right to defend itself in the wake of Hamas's October 7th attack in southern Israel, which killed 1,200 people. I still don't understand why this is sort of controversial. Like, they weren't supposed to defend themselves? Like, whatever. Gaza's health ministry on Sunday reported the death toll in Israel's military operation in Gaza has now passed 35,000 people, most of them women and children. So, okay. Why do you put that in there? I'm just wondering, where's the context for that? You're talking about them protesting Jerry Seinfeld, and you throw this tidbit in there from, Gaza's health ministry. Very trustworthy source. They don't inflate any of their numbers ever. They don't lie about anything. They don't use propaganda to sell a narrative. They don't do any of that stuff. It's good to hear that. Seinfeld did acknowledge the protest in his speech, or didn't acknowledge the protest in his speech. Good for him. He kept the subject matter light and offered advice to the 2024 graduates. He even apologized for the sexual undertones in his 2007 animated film, B-Movie. Many students stayed to hear Seinfeld's speech. Some in the crowd cheered for the comic and chanted his name in support. Excuse me. Local news station, blah, 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 reported Seinfeld encouraged graduates to live by 3 tenets. Work hard, pay attention, fall in love. Make an effort, just pure. Stupid, no real idea what I'm doing here effort, Seinfeld said. Effort always yields a positive value, even if the outcome of the effort is absolute failure of the desired result. This is a rule of life. just swing the bat and pray. Just swing the bat and pray is not a bad approach to a lot of things. I mean, that's pretty simple advice. Just basically get out of your head. Just start doing some things and see what happens. As he spoke, protesters continue their chanting from outside Wallace Wade Stadium, repeating, "Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest." Ooh, great. The New York Times reported the protesters moved to a green space on campus where they met with hundreds of others, including some faculty and relatives. There, a makeshift graduation was staged. Okay, so I just literally went to see the Jerry Seinfeld, and it's funny. I just the idea that people are protesting him for supporting his, not his home state, obviously, but his national home state. I don't know, whatever. Like for supporting his people's home state. I don't know why that would be a big thing, something to protest there. Like, pick your spots, but whatever. People are stupid. They probably thought there'd be cameras and stuff and they would get some attention for this, and which they did, I guess. So, I don't know. But Jerry Seinfeld, of all the people to protest for this, I mean, he doesn't get political. He just stays the heck out of shit. He's just a comedian. Relax. Excuse me. Okay, so what are you guys saying here? So Bloody Zoo heard Trump drew 100+ K at Jersey Shore on the weekend. Yeah, probably. I mean, Trump draws massive crowds. They say between 80 and 100K. The media, of course, is saying 80. Yeah, naturally they would say 80 because, and they would probably lie and say, that he paid for 50,000 of them or something. Anything to disparage him at this point, but nonsense, all nonsense. All right. Well, that's all I got for news stories. That's it. We can talk for a little while if you guys want. It's getting on in time for you though, over in Nambia. Almost 2 a.m, I guess. So, but yeah, that's all I got. That's it for this week. I mean, we're at 43 minutes, so I'm kind of blasting through some of these now. I find with stories I don't really care that much about. It's just kind of like news that, I don't add a lot of anything to it. So I can just get through it real quick, read the article, make a couple of my stupid points, and then move on. But, well, thanks for watching, everyone that did. Thanks for jumping in the comments. That was awesome to have a new commenter in the comments, and I know it's late for you, so that's awesome that you were here with us. And yeah, if you like the podcast, if you watch and you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me, helps the channel, helps all of it. Engage, like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. It all helps. It all helps small channels like this. So if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. And if you missed any part of the podcast, obviously you can check out. I do small segments of it. It's usually 6 segments between Tuesday and Sunday. Sunday at 5 o'clock, I drop them. Check those out. Share them. Like, comment, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, support your favorite channel. It's not your favorite channel, but support your channel. This is your channel. I do this for you. So support it if you like it. If you don't, well, thanks anyways. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were, Joe. You were out talk today. That's good. I mean, that's a good thing. We need to get this chat rolling. We need to make it its own thing over here so I can jump in every once in a while and kind of chat in on it. But and not just, have to carry the conversation. It'd be nice if you guys were just talking and I could jump in. It'd be pretty cool. Thanks again for watching. Catch me next week on the 20th. Yeah, May 20th. I'll be here. I think that's a long weekend too, by the way. So that's here in Canada. I don't know if it's everywhere, but here in Canada, I think that's Victoria Day weekend. Or it could be the following weekend. I'm not sure. I have to look. But if it is, I might be doing some stuff. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining. You're always welcome. Please come again. I know it's late for you, but if you happen to be up and you're bored and you want to join in the conversation, jump in the chat. You're always welcome. Thank you very much for supporting the channel as well. Okay, guys, thanks for chatting with me, and everybody else, thanks for watching. And yeah, like I said, I'll see you next week. Peace out.